Hello, we are Hannah,
Echo,
and Crystal.
And this is a news, culture, and current events podcast from the perspective of 3 YouTubers. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Hannah.
What are you salty about today, girl?
Today I'm so salty about harassment, girl.
Oh, man. Tell us about it.
we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, go for it, girl.
Okay, well, last week we talked about guns, which was always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been follow-up on the guns with
More
harassment.
Guns. Yeah.
More guns. That whole situation is kind of a mess.
Wait, I know how to solve it, guys.
It.
We need to give guns to teachers. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
We're going to give guns to the teachers.
Did you hear about the teacher that shot at school today?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, that. Okay, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's very serious.
Not. Okay, no, really
but
though.
It's like, a little funny.
I had teachers.
It's the silver lining of are you serious?
I would observe teachers. I was a good kid. I was a bad kid. I was a really good kid. And I would sit in class and just watch the bad kids slowly eat away at these teachers' sanity. Yep. And I would just see the look on the teacher's face. It's I will kill you one day with my hands, child. Mm-hmm. And obviously a teacher's never going to actually do something. But you see stuff floating on Facebook of teachers actually body slamming students. Just give one teacher one bad day and one mental break and they will fucking shoot a student.
Dude.
It's not funny, but it will happen.
It's a little funny just because it's so ridiculous.
Yes.
But
it was such a
really
stupid
scary.
suggestion. It was such a stupid suggestion. It made no sense. It's have you seen that tweet floating around where people are saying that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun? It's just someone trying to sell 2 guns.
And then, did you see the post of JFK Assassination Day where there were 9 people with guns around him? And he still got shot because it only takes one crazy person with a gun to take down all these people. It's... Oh, man. Okay. We should stop. We should start talking about something else.
That was last week,
okay.
Hannah. That was last week.
Let's...
I'm not done.
Just leftover salt from last week.
I'm still so salty.
Okay, well, these kids from the high school, bless them in their hearts because they have taken it upon themselves to do something about it. And they were very, very vocal, and they're people... quote retweeting people, senators, politicians, pretty much shutting them down, being no, I was there. It's about guns. Go fuck yourself. Obviously way more eloquent than me. But
I'm amazed at how well these kids speak.
They're so smart.
Dude.
It's insane.
I know, and
yeah.
They're not only so smart, they're speaking about really traumatic events without cracking. I can't even
I start
I
crying.
can't even talk to my
I bet you
boss.
it's because they grew up on the internet. It's because they grew up on the
It's so
internet
true.
that they are just
They're
they know how to deflect
They
this.
are.
They live in the internet.
It's amazing.
It's
For real though,
it's
anytime
freaking
I get
amazing.
yelled at or anytime I need to talk about something serious, it's hard for me to not cry sometimes.
Same.
And then seeing
oh
these
my
kids,
God, I
they're
know.
so strong and I don't know. I don't want to be too cheesy, but it's pretty inspiring. They're
it is.
they're good
Yeah.
peeps.
Which is why I'm so salty that these good angels that are just trying to make the world a better place with the little circle of influence that they have, they're getting harassed a lot.
Yep.
So, I don't know if you guys saw the Philip DeFranco show last week or kept up with it, but basically a lot of it kind of got started when a bunch of these kids marched down to the Senate House in Florida to watch a bill get voted on.
Oh,
And this bill would have essentially, said all assault rifles are illegal. And it failed miserably. I think it was 70-something to something else.
Yeah.
It wasn't even... I heard that it wasn't even actually the bill. It was just the vote on whether or not to talk about the bill.
Yeah.
So it's it wasn't even passing it or not. It was just hey, should we talk about this? Should we debate this?
They shut it down.
They made the
said
decision to value guns over children's lives years ago.
It's sad. It's really, really fucking
They
sad.
were justifiably very upset about it.
Yes. There were photos floating around of the kids, weeping because some of their best friends just got slaughtered at school a few days ago, and these old men in suits just were no, fuck them. And so they're obviously upset. And there were some people, namely this one guy. I don't even know if I wrote his name down because he's not important.
Good, we shouldn't mention his name. But he's verified, which is the important part. He's verified on Twitter.
He's a person who has followers, yeah.
He said, adults 1, kids 0. Oh, this is the worst news since their parents told them to get summer jobs. And stuff like that. It's just heartless monster garbage bullshit.
Garbage
what
person.
The fuck that is.
Yep, garbage person.
And now, I must also say that there was he got a lot of backlash, even from the right wing being like, dude, that's not okay. Which is fucking good, right?
It's true. It's not okay.
It's not fucking okay. To the point that he was like, oh no, real grief is a thing, but I just don't like them trying to manipulate. I'm like, they have emotions, you monster. Anyway.
It's true.
Bringing up the idea of these kids are faking it or going over the top to get their political agenda, or they're being manipulated by adults, pushed this slew of conspiracy theories, like slam campaigns, smear campaigns, all on these teenage children, that resulted in so much online hate. It's crazy.
Okay.
And the conspiracy theory video.
This happens every time there's a shooting. I just want to say that first. Especially a school shooting. Like Sandy Hook, this was ridiculous too. And Alex Jones is one of the most famous people that fucking Donald Trump always talks about him, and he was interviewed on his show and stuff. Alex Jones is a Sandy Hook denier. Regardless of what else he ever says in his goddamn life, that point should make him discreditable for everything.
Yeah.
Because that is not okay. These families lost their 6-year-old kids. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
Seriously.
You can't do that to these families. You can't keep fucking pestering them and, like, just telling them that they're liars and, oh, you're lying about this. This is just left-wing propaganda to get these guns banned. Go fuck yourself. Oh.
Seriously. There was actually a few, like, videos of some of the students, like one of the girls who had like a black eye, like half of her face, like saying in an interview, she's like, you cannot look me in the face and tell me that what the fuck I experienced was fake. Like, she's not having any of it.
Yeah. One of the conspiracy theory videos made it to the top trending for almost 24 hours on YouTube, and that doesn't help. That really doesn't freaking help. And it looks like no one's watching the YouTube trending page. It looks like they don't even care.
Still, after they promised that they would and that they hired, 10,000 more people to watch it, they're still like, oh,
this is one page.
Nobody saw it.
This is
Are you kidding me?
It's one page.
Millions of people saw that. Oh,
and that was about David Hogg, that particular video that we're speaking of. David Hogg is kind of like the central figure here because he is one of the students who people have managed to find some like very weak and disgusting like theories on that are even like kind of not, I won't even say credible, but that people can cling to.
Yeah.
So that video that got on trending was that he was in California and there was like something that happened with a lifeguard or whatever, and this kid was there and he got interviewed. And so you have people on, you know, the deniers of this thing that are saying that the kids are making it up for whatever the fuck.
They're
crisis
actors. Yeah. They think they go around the country and visit tragedies and then push propaganda for the left, which is fucking crazy. But I can see how people would maybe, like, I can see it. I like conspiracy theories. But
dude, the Avril thread. Like, I hate I love hate the Avril thread because I can't not believe it. It doesn't. She's not real. She died a long time ago.
She's been replaced, guys. If you didn't know,
it is.
Avril Lavigne was replaced in like 2011 or something, years ago.
I believe it.
By her stunt double. Her stunt double, Melissa.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's happened.
That's because it's not her music. It's
Melissa's
music.
You can never tell me that she sang Hawaii. I will never believe it.
Anyway. I do believe that there is some kind of like, you know, some conspiracy theories are insane, but some of them there's like there's a small thread of truth and everything. I am sure that the term crisis actor exists because at some point somebody hired somebody to go do that. Do I think that these kids are that? No.
There's
and if you think that, fuck you.
You're dumb. You're dumb. Go read some more books.
Oh, God. Okay, so David Hogg then made a video on his YouTube channel because these kids are Gen Z and they have they have accounts, you know what I mean? They're active on the internet. And he was like, we're not crisis actors, blah, 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 blah. And on that video, I don't know where it got leaked to, but there was a whole bunch of downvotes and comments like, "We're onto you, you little twerp, you're such a soy boy, you're feminine, oh, blah, 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 blah." Typical bullshit online anonymous harassment stuff.
That's a good way to lead into the whole Donald Trump Jr. thing and the whole, what's her name, Melania Trump thing. So, Melania's whole mission that she was talking about when Trump was on the verge of getting elected was that she was going to help to fight cyberbullying, that she was going to stop
good job.
Online bullying culture.
Nice
and like the exact this is a quote that I found, but it says, "Our culture has gotten too mean and too rough, especially to children and teenagers." But so like her thing, in the same way that the last first lady was like, she did a lot of like social work with health, Melania wanted to work against online bullying. And hasn't done a single fucking thing in the year that they've been there.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Anyway, Donald Trump Jr., her son-in-law? Stepson, there we go. Stepson, yes, because this was from a different marriage. So, stepson liked 2 tweets, essentially about David Hogg and, like, all the crisis actor stuff and stuff like that. People started swarming their family and like his little sister Lauren Hogg, and she started tweeting at Melania saying like, "Hey, you said that you wanted to do something about like bullying. You could start by just talking to your son. Just talk to your son, because he's causing hundreds of thousands of people to attack me and our family and like online bully us." And it's just, I don't think she did anything.
No, of course not.
It's so infuriating.
I think she maybe has some strong traits somewhere in there. Never seen them. I don't know. She seems like a hollow shell of a human, but she's been around Donald Trump for so long. She would have to be. God bless her.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like,
of course.
She's living her gold digger life, and I can. I can. I appreciate that. There's like, an aspect of that I appreciate.
My neighbor, when I was growing up, we had a neighbor who was like, his name was Tex. He was like this really old man, and his wife was like 20-something years younger than he was. Nice. And it's like, you know that he was rich. She only married him for the money, and then he lived to be like 90-something, and there was just this perpetual of like, when are you going to die? Whenever like we were around her, and I felt so bad for the whole situation, because it's like, that's such an odd thing to find yourself in.
You know, it is, and
it was just,
I have to say though, like, I kind of love that dynamic sometimes, like the Hugh Hefner-y kind of thing, where he's like got 3 girlfriends at once because he's just so goddamn rich. And they all are just like beautiful 20-somethings.
It's like, if that's, I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna shame consenting adults.
That's exactly how I feel. It's true. Hey, live your best life. Go get it, girl.
Do you, boo. Do you.
So we have nothing bad to say about gold diggers, but Melania specifically, is there anything in there? I don't know.
To have been a gold digger for Donald Trump specifically, one that can't really have much of a backbone, at least publicly. I will say that. I don't know what they're I don't know what the behind the doors looks like. Nobody does. That's their private business, and I'm not going to pretend like I know, because I do not. But publicly, your girl is a jellyfish. She just nods and looks like a pretty little fox, and that's what she does.
And she is cute, though.
Yeah, she seems very disconnected. Yeah. Like, disconnected as the rest of the family.
It seems that is very consistent with the rest of the family. They've all been too rich for too long. There's no way they could understand what's going on with anything. And that's the way I feel about most people. This is a whole different discussion, but that's the way I feel like most people are in Capitol, like in Washington, D.C. They have been so rich for so long. I don't think there's any possible way that they could be connected to things that are going on.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I imagine what it would be like if rich people just had to live on, like, a budget of,
man.
like, a couple $1,000s a month. Like, I would just love to see that happen. Like, to have some weird rich game show where it's like, here, let's have you come live in this apartment and pay bills and go to a 9-to-5 job. Let's just have you do this for, like, a week. I would love to watch them try.
They're all children of, like, immigrants who worked their asses off and got this money for them. so they've never worked like a hard day's work in their life, I bet. Obviously I don't know everybody. Like they would never be able to pay their bills. They just spend the fucking money because those people tend to be terrible with money. They just have enough that it's okay. All right.
Rich
anyways,
people, gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Income inequality is a completely different thing. It's like that's I could go on forever about how it sucks to be poor.
Yeah, those damn rich people.
Overworked and underpaid.
Yeah.
But this got to here because we're talking about millennials being disconnected from bullying. But she didn't do anything to Donald Trump Jr. at all. And these kids and this poor David Hogg's family is probably still getting harassed because he is such a little fighter. He will not quit. He won't quit. Like, I think I was scrolling. I was trying to do research for this, and I randomly came across an article. I didn't get to read through it, but essentially one of the parents were supposedly expressing worry that the kids aren't grieving because they're, like, on this schedule of interview, and they're not really getting a chance to deal with their pain on top of extreme political and public backlash with hateful comments and all of this stuff.
I can't imagine. Fucking
I want to like buy their office a pizza. Like I just want to like call in and be like, "Hey, deliver a pizza to this place." Like 4. I just want to like support them. I want them to like personally know how much I support them and all that they're doing.
The best way to support is with food.
It is.
Yeah, it's true.
This is a known fact.
It really is.
You know, you're right. You're right.
And because a lot of this is taking place on YouTube with the trending video and with the YouTube video, and like a couple of other of the students are on YouTube as well, and they're also getting a lot of backlash for it, I think it's a good time to talk about YouTube harassment in general.
There is so much.
There's a culture of harassment that YouTube itself kind of wants to shut down. But even as we talked about in the podcast a few weeks ago, we went over the interview. Actual just plain harassment isn't actually like banned. It's what was it?
Yeah,
malicious harassment.
Malicious harassment.
That's insane.
Yeah, malicious harassment.
They don't know what that word
like
means.
regular harassment should just be ignored.
Dude, harassment always malicious, always badly intended. So I like to call these people professional bullies because that's what they fucking do. They call themselves like react channels. No. You're a bully.
No, they're professional
professionally.
cyber bullies.
You're getting paid to bully people off the internet. You feel fucking good about yourself. Instead of creating things, you're just destroying people. Like, great. Good for you.
Yep.
You're contributing so much. Glad you're on this platform with us. Oh, man. Can you tell I'm already salty? I'm not going to be able to get all this salt
Let it out. Now's the time, Hannah. Now's the time.
Oh, I hate it.
I hate react channels.
I know.
I hate all of response channels. Like, all of they're cyber bullies.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
It's true. It's true. I do have to say, we were talking about Idubbbz before this, because we have differing opinions on Idubbbz.
Briefly.
He has these things called content cops. They're like special featured things on his channel, like really long episodes of his regular show. I always feel weird calling it like episodes and show, because when people do that to me, I'm like, what the fuck, they're videos. Like, stop calling it episodes of my show. That's so weird. But here I am using that terminology. So he does special things, and it's like 30 minutes long usually, and he really digs into people's channels and points out all the reasons why they suck really articulately and well.
Really,
it is
really good at it.
Best. One of my favorite.
They're essentially
things on
exposed videos. Yeah, they're like really in-depth exposed videos, and he also has like a collective like group of larger YouTubers that support him, which allows him like even more alternative avenues that maybe the public and like viewers wouldn't have access to.
Yeah, I think that's totally true.
Really crazy.
In his last, the last one I watched at least, the last content cop was Asian Jake Paul, which is Rice Gum. He did a little.
It was like content cop for Jake Paul, and then like when you actually click on it, it's like, oh, this has nothing to do with Jake Paul.
This is not Jake Paul.
All about Rice Gum.
Rice Gum sucks. Everybody hates Rice Gum. It's been that way for a while. He's the worst. Leafy and then him are probably the worst.
Leafy disappeared. Like, where
Leafy,
did he go?
This shit died out.
Still making videos, actually. He's
Is
just
he? I
not
feel like
doing
it was
as
like,
well.
oh my gosh, Leafy is here, and then like
it's because he skyrocketed. His channel kind of like blew up out of nowhere for some stupid reason, and then he just died out.
Yeah. Well, these channels, they thrive off of drama, and that's not sustainable. Like, you can't just thrive off of drama forever. Eventually, people are going to be like, okay, bye. because you're actually a boring,
okay, you're
horrible
saying the
person.
same thing again.
Yeah. There's nothing in there. There's no substance inside of you as a person. You're hollow.
Well, that kind of draws to, like, a lot of these people, these channels that do that, is they create it. So they go out of their way to, like, make up shit, or, like, not do their research, or, like, harass people who don't need to be harassed just to stay relevant. And that's why Ricegum is still fucking relevant, because he does that shit.
Ugh.
It's like the stupid The Odd Ones Out thing, how he made a video and, like, kind of, like,
walk us through,
unnamingly
Echo.
Shaded him. Okay,
Walk us
so
through.
The Odd Ones Out, James, made a video called Clothes, I think that's what it's called, but in it he was kind of, like, shading... Yeah, buying new clothes, something like that. But it was, like, there was a lot of shade towards Ricegum, but not in a way that, like, if you didn't know who Ricegum was, you wouldn't know it was about him. But if you do, there's a slight chance that you would know who he's talking about. And, like, the whole thing is really beautifully, like, it's just really intense shade without ever naming names.
It's because James is awesome.
Ricegum, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he totally is.
He's
And then Ricegum found out about it and decided to make a big deal out of it and, like, make a response video and complain about how, like, The Odd Ones Out is, like, doing all of this stuff, and it was just really, really
It's because that's the only thing he's got going for him.
Crystal.
Anytime somebody uses your, like, I mean, James didn't even use his name, which is great, because, you know, don't.
Yeah.
You don't need to give these people, like, more publicity. They're the worst. Whenever they have a chance, they're gonna be like, oh, it's me that they're talking about. Oh, I'm gonna complain now. Oh, I'm the victim. I'm being bullied. And that's why, like, the content cops are so great, because he doesn't just give them, like, a platform to say more shitty things. He, like, tears them apart so much that they lose thousands, if not millions, of subscribers every single time. It's amazing.
The kind of stuff that he pulls apart about people, like, the comments of them, like, rape comments and, like, racist comments and things that they cannot recover from. In a social perspective, it's like you are going to lose any surface level fan or viewer that you have who didn't know about this before.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's really great at that.
It's amazing, and he does it in such a fun, easy to watch way. And I don't know if you watched the whole thing of the Asian Jake Paul, because it was, you know, it's 30 minutes long.
Yeah, I did. I watched it twice.
Oh my God,
I watched it and then I watched it with my
much.
sister.
If you watch it all the way through, there's a music video at the end of it, and it has PewDiePie, Jax Films, H3H3, I'm pretty sure, Ethan from H3H3, and one of my favorite people, Internet Comment Etiquette. I don't know if you've seen him before. So funny!
Yes,
I love his channel! Oh my God.
Dave from Boy in a Band was also in that music video.
Yeah, he helped write the whole thing. So good. It was so good. There was a week there when I listened to that thing like 20 times. I thought it was amazing. I have one of the sheep hoodies as well. I know. Okay. So this is another thing. We have differing opinions on Idubbbz, because I kind of like Idubbbz, I'm going to be honest. And I know he's done a lot of problematic shit, and if anybody says they hate him, not going to argue. That is totally fair. I think that's
problematic
justified. Yeah. But he's kind of fun. He's kind of fun to me.
See, I feel like there's so many of his videos that I watch where I'm just like, oh, dude, this is just, this is wrong. Mm-hmm. The way that you're talking about this is just so awful.
That's totally fair.
I was like,
it is.
Content cop is the best thing ever, though. Like, even if you don't like Idubbbz, it's like, it's fantastic. The way that he does, like, he is the only person who could do this. He's the only person who could do Content Cop the way Content Cop is done.
I agree. It's like a persuasive essay almost, but like a funny one. A funny persuasive essay. It's so good.
There was this one video that we were watching. It was like, he was making fun of some Patreon thing. It was like lingerie for women who have body issues or something, and he was just like, the whole thing was just very like, oh, this chick is fat, oh, this, like, I don't know, it just felt very, like, disconnected, and all it did was, like, make me and my sister feel like garbage. Yeah. And it was just like, this isn't helping anyone in any way. like shock humor. It's not really that funny. He just says things that you're not supposed to say. And you're like, okay, buddy.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. Okay, bud.
There's a lot of those kinds of people. Like, people who create drama just to create drama, just to stay relevant. And then there's people who just, like, say horrible things just to say horrible things.
Yeah.
to the point that, like, low-key worried about mentioning other people besides Rice Gum by name just because they get so petty.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I feel like I should clarify. It's not that I dislike Idubbbz, it's that I dislike his content. Apart from things like Content Cop, certain, like, parts of his, like, shock humor I'm not particularly a fan of. Him as a person, I feel like he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't think I would have any kind of, like... I don't know. I don't think I would necessarily dislike him as a human being.
I think he's probably a little bit of an asshole.
Probably. I mean,
yeah, a little bit.
Most of them are.
I don't think, like, we'd be close friends.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is the place where we're allowed to be salty about whomever we would like. So I think it's totally fair to be like, I don't like this person, and just feel comfortable with that.
I feel like given how small the audience of this is, it's probably
we
fine.
are totally safe.
They said and regretted 2 years later.
I feel safe in anonymity right now. Okay. I just want to say that on the record. Hannah feels anonymous.
No, it's true. I'm the same way. But I mean, so there's like Rice Gum, there's Idubbbz, there's Leafy was one of those people. There's Keemstar, there's Onision. I mean, I'm afraid of literally all of these people.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
See, I think of people like Blair White. She's called out personal friends of mine and just sent hordes of harassment at them, and so I personally group her in with all the rest of them.
Yeah, I bet if I had an experience where people came at me, I'd feel a little different, and I guess I have a little bit. I said some things about how much I hated shipping IRL people, and I got a crazy amount of backlash for that.
Really?
And I was like, oh no. Yeah, that's one of my most disliked videos. Actually, I think it is my most disliked video.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, it was a little scary. I had some death threats, and I was like,
oh my god.
Oh no. Because people get intense.
Which one is this?
Okay, I have 2 videos where people have sent me death threats, and they're my 2 most disliked videos. I did one that's fangirl rant, and it was after
I love that video.
I love that video too. It's one of my favorites.
That one. I like that.
I spent a lot of time on that script, by the way. Like, it was very thought out and very intentional the way I said things. And it was just after I got back from VidCon, and I watched these people go. It was specifically Dan and Phil, that they were fucking losing their minds over whenever they would do anything, and I was like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I hate it. So I wrote a script, a big long script about how much I hated it, and then my other video was my very first Drawing 21 Pilots video, where I made fun of some of their stuff that's a little like Edgelord Supreme, because I love 21 Pilots, just gonna say, but some of their things are like, I'm so edgy, like, oh, it's like Suicide Squad. Like, Suicide Squad was like edgy for the sake of being like, edgy. I'm so cool, and I was like, haha, it's funny, right guys, it's funny, and people were like, fuck off, die, and I was like, they're like, it's not funny anymore, I get it now. So I've been very cautious with those fandoms until right now when I'm saying fuck them.
Well, there's 2 different kinds. Well, that's a really good avenue into talking about different kinds of harassment. There's harassment that people with a responsibility have, that they send forth intentionally to other people. And then there's the harassment that just happens when there's an unpopular opinion. That just, I guess, becomes like a virus, and it just eats away at whatever the thing is.
That's another really cool argument or discussion, is whether content creators are responsible for how their fans go after people.
To a point.
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah. I would also
say
this is
a thing where same. Okay, I imagine when I hear this kind of thing, I imagine fans almost like this giant swarm or like a wave, because it's the whole like, it's like a bunch of raindrops make an ocean kind of thing, like, you know, like a bunch of drops make an ocean. So it's a bunch of these like fans that makes this like group of people, and you're responsible to sway the mass. You're not gonna get every ounce of like stuff you just can't control all of it, but you can control the mass, and it's like that's where your responsibility is.
I think that's
the majority. So if you say like, oh, this person's awful, blah blah blah, and a bunch of people go and swarm them, you're responsible for that. Even if you say, oh, I told you not to, like if you realize, if they tell you, hey, you're sending a bunch of hate my way, you have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that when you say, oh, don't go do that, it's not working. It's not working if you just tell them not to do it, because they will anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things where, as a content creator, you do have to check yourself. You think, oh, that's obvious. Obviously, that's something that you shouldn't do, until it's in your lap. And another YouTuber did something super fucking shitty to you, to the point that you're emotionally compromised, which has happened in this group.
Yeah.
And we all had our cameras out, ready to tear into somebody hardcore, and we had to, like, take a step back and say, this is not okay. Like, we will destroy this person's comment section.
Some of us may have filmed a lot of things that she later had to cut out.
Yeah. Ooh, that was good, though. In the moment, that felt good. Hearing them yell into the camera.
Yeah, when you...
It was...
to
it
a
felt
point,
good. The editing was great, too.
Yeah. Especially when somebody, like, is starting the shit, you know what I mean? You feel almost, like, justified to do it, but then later you're like, let me not. And to this day, people still don't know. I still get people tweeting at me, oh, so-and-so, blah, 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 is great, right? And I'm like... Nah. Like,
know that person.
They're on mute. I would block them if it wouldn't be drama. Like, please never say that name to me again. But I can't. But then also you have, like, there's that responsibility where you have to ask yourself, or some people would be like, no, they did blah, 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 this and that. They deserve to be called out. And then you have, like, the lesser moments where we've had this discussion in our group before, where somebody like Philip DeFranco has, like, some really dumbass say something so dumb, like, it's just like, wow. Yeah. And his argument in quote retweeting them, or just even responding, like even replying, is that they say something publicly to me that is an offense to me, to actually get a reaction from me, and then I respond publicly to them back. I cannot, like, that they asked for it, pretty much is his argument.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that because of the direct... Like, I've talked with this about Ellen, because she's actually, specifically with Philip DeFranco, this is one of those things where it's like, this is where I unsubscribed to him and then subscribed 2 months later, was that he had actually harassed a friend of a friend to the point where she almost committed suicide.
Oh,
and all he did was reply to her. Like, she said something, she just screamed into the void of the internet, and he actually saw it and replied to her, and then he, like, quote tweeted her.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
And because... there's this clickable link right in front of everyone's faces. They all clicked it and sent her so much hate that she was, like, on the verge of suicide. And there's this... It's like when you provide someone a direct link to someone, that's where it's stupid. Because you can take their argument and delete their name and say, this argument is stupid.
I agree.
To protect them as a human being, I feel like you're partially responsible.
Just
because
Reddit,
of your power. Like, Philip DeFranco has that power.
Yeah, I agree. On Reddit, they always make, like, if you're going to post something on, like, Insane People Facebook, which is one of my favorite subreddits, if you're going to do that, you have to block out their name. And I think that is the only way to do that sort of thing. If you're going to call someone out, hey, at Philly D, if you're going to call somebody out, just block out their name and, like, take a screenshot, block out their name, and then talk about it. Because they don't need that in their life. Even, they're in a bad place if they're going to be saying shit like that. Like, there's no way they're not. And... I've never been mad at people on the internet when I'm, like, totally happy with myself. Like, unless it's, like, fucking something crazy stupid. But, like, I don't hold on to that anger when I've got a good life. I hold on to that anger when I'm already angry and sad. So you can't...
It's true.
It's emotionally fragile people who are screaming into the internet most of the time. You just got to keep that in mind. So I don't know. I've never... I think maybe when I first started YouTube, I might have commented back to somebody and they apologized right away. And I was like, oh, this was very civil and you were actually not a monster. Maybe I should never do this again because you have feelings too, my good sir. And I had, like, torn them such a new one, and they were like, I'm so sorry, I'll never post again, or something like that. And I was they said something that was, like, really, like, I never thought you'd see this, and I'm so sorry, and, like, I'll never do anything like that again. And I was like, oh, dude, it's okay. I'm strong. It's all right. But it was, like, so... Yeah. It really, like, I don't know. That changes your perspective when something like that happens, or at least it did for me.
Okay, so, like, with Ellen, what I was saying about the, like, the taking a picture and blocking out their name, even if you don't block out their name, just taking a screenshot rather than doing a quote tweet, makes it so that people are less likely to, because versus like, here's an accessible link, you can just click and go harass them, versus here you actually have to type out their name in the search bar and hunt down all of this stuff in order to
and it gives them
anything.
A chance to delete
like
their stupid comment. Like, if they decide they want to delete that tweet, that they can without people knowing who it ever was. They can be like, oh, you're totally right, I'm going to delete this and hide it. And they'll never have to, and they can change their mind. Because you're not giving them an avenue to change their mind once you retweet them like that. Like, that is calling them out and not giving them a chance. Because they're going to have hundreds of thousands of people. When you got a couple million followers on Twitter, or even just 1 million, or even just a couple thousand, really, like, that's a lot of people. And I forget about that sometimes, too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, it's really hard because you lose perspective. You have to be smart enough to be able to understand the power that you have, which is a really difficult thing. It is. It's really hard to
you feel like a loser
comprehend just how much influence you have on the world. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's completely true. You don't feel like you have a lot of power, but... Like,
that, and then you also get inundated with a whole bunch of people. Like, the bigger you get, you see these messages of negativity, like, more frequently and more frequently and more frequently, until you as a creator are finally like, okay, listen, bitch. Like, and you feel like you finally respond to that one, or you quote retweet that one, and you like finally feel vindicated, but then you just like done fucked up somebody's day who's already having a really bad day.
Unfucked up. Yeah, dude.
Especially because like you get desensitized.
You do.
You like when you when you see a handful of people saying like drink bleach or like you're an ugly fat blah blah blah. It's like after a while you're like, oh haha, that doesn't even affect me anymore.
Yeah.
But you forget that would affect other people. Like if you quote tweet someone and say like, look at what this person said, and they get like 5 people calling them ugly or fat or whatever, that could affect them a lot more than it affects you. Like as a person who's subject to it a lot.
It's true. Yeah, I just skim over those comments now. Like they don't even really hit home anymore. Like I never let it actually sink in what the words are that they're saying. Anytime I see something like that, I'm like, okay, this one was just like spam. Like it was just copy paste to me. It's like, oh, that was another one. Okay. Like not really talking to me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this person's having a bad day. Yeah. That sucks.
They didn't mean it. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's partially what I do, too, is I dismiss it, and I'm just like, I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, oh, you're just probably having a hard time.
Although I did totally blacklist anybody saying I have an annoying voice, because that one hits home. If you're a YouTuber, you've had to listen to your voice so much, and you hate it, because it's the worst to listen to your own voice all the time. It really is. And you hate the way you talk after a while, too. At least I do. And
I do, too.
Oh, my God. Anytime somebody says that, I'm like, oh, man, that one cut me deep, because it's true.
The ones...
It's like a reaffirmation about your, like, self-conscious stuff.
Like the one that they, like, always pinpoint, like, whatever it is. Oh, my gosh. I'm too weak. I'm not going to say what it is, because people are going to go comment it. But, like, somebody will say it, and I'm like, well, you're never allowed to talk on my channel ever again. Like,
got a lifelong ban from this channel, buddy.
More often than not, I'm able to just be like, whatever, like, it's fine. They're just having whatever. They're a sad person. I'm gonna move on. But sometimes it's like, goodbye.
Dude, back in the day with my eyebrows, too, anytime somebody talked shit about my eyebrows, I was like, you cut me deep, buddy. Like, I'm doing my best. This is all I got here. We are growing it as far and fast as we can. This is it. Yeah, they're transparent. Sorry.
That's so funny. Well, as going back to the I guess directing.
What were we talking about?
People. Directing the flood of getting harassment comments is one thing. That's definitely a huge part of the conversation. Yeah. But I guess a larger
like being responsible
is like the
for the harassment you could accidentally cause. Yeah, like I feel like YouTubers, it's really difficult to recognize how much influence you have, but you are responsible for the majority of your audience's behavior. Not exactly, but you have to recognize that everything you say, hundreds of thousands of people are hearing you. And a lot of them, if they like you, will take it to heart.
They will.
And so it's important to be a good role model and to like be a good influence and like do the best that you can for all of these people that you have like a hand in their lives.
I agree.
And you really do. Like, as a creator, you feel really disconnected from the people.
Yeah.
But, dude, just in this last, like, week or so, I launched Patreon, and I'm getting, like, closer to my buddies. Hey, buddies, if you're listening. And they're, like, real people. And that sounds really weird to say, but...
No, I totally
understand.
They're
real people. But when you, like, take it to a point of, like, I'm hearing about the fact that they hate bio class, and they're having a bad day, or, like, they drew a picture, and I'm like, you are real people with real problems. And they take what you have to say very personally, you know what I mean? So if you have a bunch of those people, and you're like, hey, this person is the worst, and they made me upset, they're gonna go, like, fight tooth and nail to make you feel better.
Yeah.
I've got, on Twitter, I have a little Twitter discussion group, and, like, the messages, you know, I don't know, you DM each other, but it's a big old group, and they call themselves the Trash Fam, and that's, like, my panda babes. Those are the, like, the real close ones. They're in too deep. We know it. And they talk constantly to each other. It's fucking the coolest thing ever, and I wish I had more time to just talk to them, because they are the coolest. They're the coolest. Objectively, my fans are the coolest. I just gotta say that.
I will go further and say we share a lot of the same fans.
It's
Our
true.
fans are the coolest. Like, even going
to be
through
fair,
the
we've got
comments
a
for this
solid
podcast.
chunk of overlap. Especially, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a good chance that we've got
I would
a
say
solid
this is
amount
the
of
overlap. Yeah, they're so sweet and so cool, and it is very different to see them as real people. And you know, even when you see them at VidCon and you're like signing things and like talking to people, you don't like. At least I didn't get to talk to that many people for that long. Like it was at the most
it's
10
very brief
minutes,
interactions.
and at the least it was like 10 seconds sometimes. Because you know you like hit you hug them, you sign something, they take a picture, and then it's out. You know, we gotta go Audi 2000, but to like actually hear about like their lives and like they're in grade, you know, whatever, and they're doing whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, you're a real person. You watch my stuff and you're real. It's very different to actually hear real things from them. I know that sounds so dumb. But
it does, but that's true. It's the truth. It's the truth.
I can see how people
like,
get disconnected on the internet.
Because we have like this weird one-sided relationship going on with hundreds of thousands of people.
That is so weird.
Like, we are friends with these people that we've never met. Like, that we don't even know their names or anything about them. We just know that they know who we are.
And I know them by their icons.
That's it.
Their
Like, that's
avatar pictures. That's how I recognize people.
They know that we exist.
Yeah.
That's the basis of our friendship.
It's the weirdest thing, and I totally understand how people feel anonymous on the internet, but just know that you're not. And the things that you do get to people, and they read it, even if they don't reply. They read it, and if it was something mean, you probably hurt their feelings, buddy. So you should spread love.
I know, it's so true.
Yeah.
Now, I wrote down in my notes one of these, like, the one situation of internet harassment that, like, particularly bothered me was a few years ago with the Keemstar 60-year-old guy live streamer. Do you guys know about that one?
Yeah.
So
No,
there's a 60-year-old man who just liked chilling on Twitch and live streaming his games
Just
because
wholesome
he
dude.
liked his wholesome, precious old man. And Keemstar was out of content one day and decided to call this guy a pedophile because there was somebody else who kind of looked like him or something, but he was already arrested, whatever. He sent his entirety of his fan base onto this poor man's stream and made him cry. Live. Like, and I watched it and my heart fucking broke because there was just this little old man in front of a camera just weeping. And then he just turned off the camera. And I was like, oh my god. And that was just a whole bunch of people thinking that this entity in front of a camera was just some, like, pedophile, blah, 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 without doing their research because Keemstar was bored that day. And it's just...
Your actions have consequences, even on the internet. You can't just do whatever you want. You can't be a garbage person. Look into shit before you just start talking. You're gonna regret it later. I pinky promise. Anytime I've ever said anything mean on the internet, I've regretted it later. Every single time.
Same. I've only done it like 2-ish times, like a few times back, and just it was my own personal insecurities, and I was having a bad day, and like, you know what I mean? And I immediately regretted it. It was just like that's not okay to do. And you think that this person's not going to see it. That's like, it's the same that you guys said. On the off chance I ever do reply, I do try to be as peppy and nice as possible, even though it might have hurt my feelings. And then 90% of the time, it's always like, oh my gosh, I didn't think you were gonna read this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah.
Well, yeah, I would. Of course I would. If anybody, okay, I just want to give you a little tip. If there's a YouTuber that has like, I don't know, under 100K, they're gonna read that comment.
Yeah.
They're gonna read it.
There's like a solid like 70-80% chance that they see your comment.
I would agree. Yeah. And if they, I don't know. I don't even know if there's a size where people stop reading comments altogether. When I'm super busy, I don't get the chance to, but I always skim through them. Like, your comment, there's a good chance it's going to be seen, even if you're not replied to. I just want you to know that we look. I think everybody looks. Even if it's like a trash pit, it's like, and we know it. We gotta look. Because you gotta. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like when you're going through, when you see a video and then you scroll down and you see like the one page and then you get to the bottom where it says like read more. Most people go like, okay, that's all I want to read for now. Just the very, very top. The YouTubers continue reading because in the back end, it just continues to load. So we just go scrolling and scrolling. It's like Tumblr feed. You just scroll down and just skim through hundreds of comments.
Yes, that's true.
So it's much more efficient in the back end.
Yes, and I scroll through it all the time. And I don't know. I just want you to know that you're never anonymous on the internet. Like, there is a very good chance somebody's going to see that shit. And even, okay, nowadays, it is crazy possible that somebody could find you, too. You just got to keep that in mind as well. You can't just say things.
It is.
And this goes back, I mean, I don't mean to fucking scare you. Like, it's not going to, nobody's going to dox you.
They're going to find you.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking scary. I mean, like, if you're going to say something stupid, like, oh, I'm going to shoot up a blankety blank. Don't say that shit. They'll fucking find you. You can get arrested for that. I just want to let you know you're not anonymous on the internet. I don't know why people started thinking that.
Even on Tumblr, like, I was a part of a community for I have one of my Anon accounts. I was a part of a community for a fandom, and like within the community there was like some fandom drama where like other people were sending other people mean Anons and back and forth and blah blah blah. And it got to the point where somebody was just so fed up that they said fuck it, and so they downloaded this thing and did some shit, and then they were able to see the IP addresses of everybody who left an ask in their Tumblr ask box, and they were able to pinpoint who the fuck it was.
Yeah, there's ways to do that as well. And like, you don't have to be fucking scared about being found if you're being just a wholesome being on the internet. Like, don't be scared.
I mean, it's whatever.
But if you're being a mound of garbage, think about it.
People will go out of their way to find it because, like, after a certain amount of time, they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like, and they're gonna be like,
you can't do that. I understand the like. Well, I don't really understand it, but I hear that there's a sort of thrill when you're saying mean things.
I hear.
I've heard from a friend.
I mean, to be fair, we've got a whole podcast called Release the Salt.
Okay, but we're doing it publicly. Like, we're screaming on our front lawns. Like, you crazy kids!
Old man yells at
We don't like bullying.
Shakes
this
cane.
podcast about being salty. Oh, God.
We don't like bullies. Fuck you.
Fuck you, bullies. I mean, fuck them still. I still stand by my fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, no, this is the thing.
It's not going to fix anything.
The only way for tolerance to work is if you don't tolerate intolerance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard
that's
that?
what we're
like,
doing.
As soon as you tolerate intolerance. It's the problem with people thinking that, like, oh, if we want to be tolerant, we have to tolerate the Nazis. It's like, no, you don't. You don't have to tolerate Nazis. You can say fuck the Nazis and still be tolerant.
Fuck the Nazis.
It's like...
Fuck the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is our official podcast stance. Fuck the Nazis.
Fuck the Nazis.
Yes, that public stance on Nazis. Fuck the Nazis.
Fuck them. Yes.
Fuck them.
We all agree. I do think everybody deserves to be called out on their shit. Even if I'm doing it, even if we're doing it, like, call us out, let us know, be respectful.
We're not perfect.
Guys, be respectful.
Be nice and respectful about it, please. We are... As much as we yell and scream and curse on this particular podcast, we're very logical, sensible, like, empathetic people who just want the world to be a better place. And, I mean, even in my interpersonal relationships, I'm the first one, like, in an argument to be like, look, I'm being a bitch. I'm sorry. Like, this isn't okay. You know what I mean? And I'm not always right. Like, I do things sometimes where I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. But, you know what I mean? But at least I can stop it before it gets worse.
It's like I'm willing to accept that, like, I'll need to change my behavior if I say something wrong. I will do everything I can to adjust my behavior. Like, when I found out Melanie Martinez did, like, all of the bullshit stuff that she did, I was such a huge fan of hers. I loved her stuff. And now I can't listen to it anymore. I've deleted all of her stuff from my favorites. It's just, like, gone. And I've just had to completely alter my behavior and be like, no, I like Marshmallow now. Because fuck Melanie Martinez and all of the bullshit stuff that she did.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, like, Emma Watson. She's, like, very much feminist. She's spoken to all these people, and then people were criticizing her and saying, like, hey, your feminism is very, like, it's not intersectional, it's very white feminism, you're not caring about, like, all of the issues that are involved in this, like, racism and, like, all of the other issues are just kind of being, like, excluded from your feminism. So she changed it. She was like, oh my gosh, you guys are right, I'm so sorry. And so now she's, like, acknowledging how, like, her feminism is, like, interconnected with all these other problems that are, like, happening socially. And it's, like, I love that. Like, when people don't get defensive about being criticized for things like that, and then just, like, adjust their own behavior.
That is the correct
And I feel like we're all
response.
logical enough.
Yes.
Exactly. I feel like we're all logical enough that if someone was like, hey, you're doing this wrong, this is, like, cultural appropriation or something,
We'd be like,
I would
yeah.
stop and think
let's
about
not
it.
do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're right.
Yeah.
We are ready to learn, and that's, like, what this is all about
Yes.
as well, because, like, researching into these things, I've learned a lot of stuff, and it's great to learn, guys, and we're all just a work in progress, and I think that needs to be kept in mind when you're like, let's burn this person alive forever. No, let's call them out on their bullshit and see what they can do about it, and if they don't change, then let's burn them alive forever.
Then let's burn them all.
Yeah. Like Logan Paul and his
like
inability
Logan
to
Paul.
change.
Let's burn him, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Like,
no, there's still hope yet. They're so young. They're so baby.
I don't know, man. They are very young. I'm disappointed in him at this point. I'll just say that.
Yes.
I don't
put
expect
ads
much
back
from
on
him
his
at this
channel
point.
publicly
I know,
now.
I heard.
They've publicly proclaimed that. You know, okay. I don't know. YouTube needs to punish people. That's all I gotta say. That would help them more.
There are professional bullies on this website, on YouTube. Like, there are professional,
Granted, yes,
well-paid
Logan Paul
bullies.
is not a professional bully.
Who?
No. He just does stupid shit.
No, he does stupid
in
shit.
terms
He's
of,
not
like,
a
Logan
bully.
Paul. He's just, he's not one that we're necessarily
he
talking
kind of does
about.
seem like that 1980s dick from, like, the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he does!
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right!
Like, not intentionally being, like, a bully, but, like, still low-key. Everybody hates him.
Yeah. That's fair.
Anyway, not to say that Logan Paul's a bully. He's not. He gets a lot of shit for a lot of stuff, but he's not picking on people yet. Well, let's keep it that way.
Yeah, we're watching you, buddy.
He blocks
We're
a ton
watching
of
you.
people.
But he's a disappointment. But in general, there are people.
But in
on
terms
this
of people
platform.
like Leafy and Keemstar and
And
Rice Gum,
Onision,
they're
like,
on a
people who
different
just-
Oh
level.
my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, people. Okay, I was on a live stream one time, and people were recommending me to watch. How do you pronounce his fucking name? Onion-san.
Onision?
Onosian.
Oh, did you just say onion son?
I said onion son. Is what I said in the live stream, and
Onion son.
I still want to call him that now. It looks like
Somebody
that.
draw Chibi Onion Son.
Onion
please.
son. Okay. Someone said that in the comments, and it's really fun when you're live streaming and you don't know how to pronounce something, and so you have to wait for the lag to catch up to you. So it's like a full minute before you can try and start pronouncing it right.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
And then you just get screamed at for the next 5 minutes, and people are like, "You're not saying it correctly." So I was like, "Who's this fucking onion son?" And I started looking him up, like, during the live stream, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like him. He's garbage." I just want to say, there's some garbage people out there. Give them a chance, but then fuck them, you know?
Yeah. You ain't got time for that negativity
No.
in your life.
No. Yeah. Just,
No.
Just no. All right, before we leave, I just want to mention the queen of internet harassment, Rebecca Black.
Oh, I know.
This
Poor
girl has been through hell and back,
Yes.
and
I
she
know.
is the redemption story of my life.
I know.
She's so cool
Yes.
now, and she does cool stuff. She's still on the internet.
Yeah.
She must have been made so strong by that extreme harsh bullying that she went through.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody knows who Rebecca Black is, right? She did the Friday thing.
She did
This
Friday.
was
2011.
Friday.
Oh my
2011,
God.
she was
It's
13.
been
She
that
released a
long?
song. It got
Most-
made fun of. Yeah,
Can't believe
2011.
Most
bro.
disliked video. It was the most disliked video on YouTube. I want to say before or after Baby.
No.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Justin Bieber, too.
Beat
He's
it
kind
out,
of turned
but it
out
was
to be a dick, but can you blame him? Like,
I called it. I called that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, when he was like 12 or something, I was like, they're giving this kid too much stuff. He's gonna be a horrible person. And everybody's like, Crystal, don't be like that. And I was like, hey, it might not happen. I'm just saying. And then it happened, and I was like, I told you.
To be fair, okay, I feel like Justin Bieber was like, he was a kid, got spoiled, went through some shit, and now he's starting to mature.
He's slightly less.
Because
yeah, he's better.
this could be another
he's going
redemption
through this
story.
shit
I'm
where
holding out for it.
Same. I feel like Justin Bieber might redeem himself because he's going through so much shit where he doesn't know what it's like to not be famous, and he has no one that can empathize with what he goes through because he's like, have you ever seen that thing where he's like pleading with screaming fans, like saying like, hey guys, can we just like stop screaming and like,
and everybody got so mad at him
and stuff, and everyone was just screaming.
Listen.
And then he had a bunch of backlash. It's like no one can empathize with the kind of stuff he's going through.
I can totally
He said some
feel
shitty
that.
things, but that was not something that we should get mad at him for. Like, that was understandable.
I think that is an example of a person who just needs some time to mature, and I feel like that is a lot of these YouTubers as well. But these professional bullies, I'm sticking with my stance of fuck them. I'm sticking with it for now. Again, they
I
can
don't
be
know
redeemed.
if they have,
They can.
like,
Of course,
they have
everybody
enough time
can.
to be redeemed.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just me, but it's like the level of redeeming they have to do. They've dug themselves into
They
a
have.
hole.
Of course.
In my eyes.
I am one of those people. I think there's definitely a big hole that a lot of people would have a hard time digging themselves out of, but I stand firm on my belief that everybody can be redeemed at some point.
Dude, I'll give them some dirt.
Yeah.
It's
just a lot of work.
It's a lot of work for a lot of people, but it's possible.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Now, Crystal, do our positive monologue.
Okay,
you're always the best at this.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so whether you are a person, a consumer of content, or a consumer of the news, or a Twitter follower, YouTube viewer, whatever the heck, and you're having a bad time, and somebody just sets you off for whatever reason, whether they're being a dick or whether they're just existing and making you feel bad about yourself because you have insecurities, that person is a person at the end of the day. As much as a lot of these big bullies are dickwads, don't tell them to kill themselves. Like, that's not a cool thing to do. The same goes for the people who get caught up in their emotions. I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been to the point where I had to really consider, should I put this in a video and call this person out publicly or not? And the answer is not, because at the end of the day, it's just going to cause more discourse, and it might get you views, but you're going to lose your soul in the process, dude. And what is life at the end of it if you just had some views, but you were a shit person and made people feel like shit? So it all goes down to everybody is dealing with shit. Life is fucking hard, okay?
It's true.
And whether they're being a horrible fucking person and they're trash and they make you like infuriated on the inside to the point they want to make a podcast about how much they suck, they're still a person. You know what I mean? And same goes for the commenters. If you're a creator, people who comment, they're just a person. They don't actually hate you. They probably hate something about themselves. And the answer, I think, is not more negativity. It's that like super fucking cliche MLK quote, like, hate, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that, and hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And I can tell you firsthand, every single time I've responded to somebody who has like maliciously attacked me, and I've responded in kind with love, it's always turned out better, even if they fucking deserve to be ripped to shreds, which it's happened, and I'm sure I've deserved it, but people have been kind enough to me to understand my situation. So be kind to people and stop harassing people. Fuck.
Fuck. I like it. Oh, it was so good.
There we go.
I feel like that's a good note to end on.
It's true.
Stop harassing people. Success is the best revenge. Focus on yourself.
Yeah,
and not on other
dude.
people.
Be your best self. Be your best self and let that speak, and be kind to others, because that's how you're gonna get shit done in this universe. You can find Release the Salt on Mondays, or, oh no, even better, you can release your salt on Mondays on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. And our handles are
at Happy Panda Party,
at Echo is Weird,
at The Crystal Joy.
And remember, friends, the human body cannot survive without salt. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week. See you later. Bye.
Bye.